TJ,
Yeah.
tell me what went through your mind as you listened to that address to the
Yeah.
nation last night.
Yeah.
Before I taint it any further, tell me
Yeah.
what you thought.
I got to tell you, as a political comms guy, as a guy who's done speech writing and worked with electeds and executives and stuff like that. I'm one of those people that watches President Trump a lot of times with one eye open and going, ooh, and just wincing and kind of, hoping that he just stays somewhat on track. I was on Newsmax television the morning of the speech, and my going into it assessment was keep it tight, keep it sober, keep it on point. If whatever you're going to say, don't go off on, because you can tell when the president goes off. And so, on the surface of it, there were fewer tangents than normal. There were too many tangents, but there were fewer than normal. This was, which is actually either not saying much or saying a lot, because the other part of this is that was that might have been the shortest, most brief addresses he's ever made. I cannot. When that thing came in at 18 minutes, it came in at 18 minutes. Now, for a fellow like you, it might have seemed like an eternity. For a lot of people who are at this point with up to here with him and all of that, it probably did seem like an eternity. However, I think he absolutely kept it as tight as he's ever kept something. And it was, they did hit on some bullets, why we're getting better. Numbers are coming down. Inflation is slowing, or, he went off on tangents about gas. But with the flourishes, there was within each of those flourishes, there was the truth. Things are incrementally getting better. And we see where, a lot of promises were made. A bunch of them have been kept so far. He wanted to reiterate that. And he also just sort of put into words that he's proactive. And after like decades of inactivity, or a lot of promises, empty promises not kept by Republicans and Democrats, he's sticking to his guns. And sometimes those guns are aimed at Venezuelan drug lords. So on their boats. So we'll see. But anyway, I thought on the whole that it was as pithy as we've ever seen him. And it was brief.
Well, it was brief. I guess for Trump, that's a positive.
Yes.
So and I'll tell you. So I've listened to some of his rallies. I can usually last for about 5 minutes. And so I had this one. I'm sitting there cooking dinner for the kids, and I put this one up, and it got about 3 or 4 minutes into it, and I stopped and I look over at my wife. I said, "What the hell is he talking about?" So yes, I'm much more critical of him than probably most of the center right. But my God, he was going off on these tangents, and it almost felt like he was screaming at me through the thing. And I'm going to tell you something else that really drove me crazy.
Yeah.
It was lie after lie. You've been watching the No Bull Political Arena. To finish watching this clip or to watch the entire show, please go to our YouTube channel at No Bull Media Group.